There are forces within the human mind that most of us never fully realize. Each day, we go about our lives believing that our thoughts are fleeting, our worries are random, and our hopes are private dreams. Yet deep beneath the surface, in the vast and silent realm of the subconscious mind, every one of those thoughts takes root. It is here, in this hidden dimension of our psyche, that the seeds of our destiny are planted. Joseph Murphy, in his groundbreaking book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, brings this truth to light with remarkable clarity. First published in the early 1960s, this book has stood the test of time because it speaks to something universal, the incredible potential each of us holds to shape our lives through the power of inner belief. Murphy argues that the subconscious is not a passive storage space, but a living force that responds directly to our thoughts, emotions, and mental images. What you impress upon your subconscious, whether it is fear, doubt, love, or confidence, will inevitably find expression in your outer world. This is not mere positive thinking. It is the law of cause and effect operating within the mind itself. By learning to discipline our thoughts and direct them toward constructive, life-affirming patterns, we can attract health, prosperity, success, and harmony into our daily lives. Throughout the book, Murphy weaves together spiritual wisdom, practical psychology, and real-life stories of people who transformed their circumstances simply by learning to tap into this inner power. From healing illnesses to achieving financial abundance, from overcoming fear to finding love, his message is clear. The mind is both the source of our limitations and the key to our freedom. This is not just a book about success. It is a manual for living with purpose, confidence, and peace. It reminds us that the greatest power we have is not found in the external world, but in the silent partnership between our conscious choices and the limitless creativity of our subconscious mind. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video.
Chapter 1. The Treasure House Within You. Joseph Murphy begins his journey by reminding us that within every human being lies a vast inner treasure, a storehouse of wisdom, creativity, and healing power that we often neglect. This treasure is the subconscious mind. It is not something external that we must search for in distant lands, but something we already carry deep within ourselves. Murphy explains that the subconscious mind works tirelessly, 24 hours a day, shaping our lives according to the thoughts and beliefs impressed upon it. Unlike the conscious mind, which analyzes, doubts, and reasons, the subconscious simply accepts what it is told. It does not argue or discriminate. It takes the ideas we feed it and translates them into reality. If we constantly dwell on fear, limitation, or failure, the subconscious faithfully produces experiences that match those thoughts. But if we nourish it with faith, love, and confidence, it will respond with opportunities, healing, and abundance. To illustrate this, Murphy uses examples from daily life. Think of the automatic functions of the body, the beating of the heart, the healing of wounds, the growth of new cells. All of these are directed by the subconscious without our conscious control. If the subconscious can perform such miraculous tasks in the body, imagine what it can do in shaping the external circumstances of our lives when properly directed. He emphasizes that we must see the subconscious as a powerful ally. Too often, people treat their inner world as a battleground of doubts and negative thinking. But when we recognize it as a treasure house, we approach it with reverence, gratitude, and responsibility. Every thought becomes a seed, and the subconscious is the fertile soil in which that seed will grow. The practical lesson of this opening chapter is clear. To change your outer world, you must first change your inner dialogue. The mind is the true treasure chest, and by learning how to use it wisely, we can unlock reserves of strength, creativity, and peace we never thought possible.
Chapter 2. How Your Mind Works. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy carefully distinguishes between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, showing how the two parts of our mental life interact to shape our experiences. The conscious mind is the reasoning part, the part of you that chooses, decides, and analyzes. It is the captain of the ship, giving directions. The subconscious mind, on the other hand, is the crew. It does not question the captain's orders, it simply follows them, carrying out instructions faithfully. This means that whatever the conscious mind believes to be true, whether positive or negative, the subconscious accepts and works to bring into reality. Murphy illustrates this with a simple but profound idea. Your subconscious cannot take a joke. If you continually speak negatively about yourself, even in a light-hearted way, the subconscious absorbs those words as truth. Over time, such statements shape your behavior, your emotions, and even your destiny. Conversely, when you impress it with constructive affirmations and mental images, it begins to create conditions that align with those positive beliefs. Another key point Murphy makes is that the subconscious mind operates through habit. Just as repeated physical actions form muscle memory, repeated thoughts create mental patterns. If you consistently think in terms of failure, worry, or lack, your subconscious becomes conditioned to expect those outcomes. But by deliberately practicing positive, faith-filled thoughts, you can recondition your subconscious to expect success, abundance, and peace. He also reminds us of the incredible creativity of the subconscious. Many great inventions, artistic masterpieces, and scientific breakthroughs were born not in moments of intense logical reasoning, but during relaxation, dreams, or sudden flashes of inspiration, moments when the subconscious was free to surface with solutions. This demonstrates that the subconscious is not only obedient, but also infinitely resourceful. The practical message of this chapter is empowering. You are the gatekeeper of your mind. Guard the thoughts you dwell upon, because every idea you impress upon your subconscious becomes a blueprint for your reality. By learning how your mind works, you gain the first essential key to directing it toward health, happiness, and success. Chapter 3. The miracle-working power of your subconscious mind. Joseph Murphy opens this chapter with a powerful reminder: your subconscious mind is not limited by time, space, or circumstance. It is connected to a deeper intelligence, a universal power that can produce results that seem miraculous. When you truly understand how to access this inner force, you can transform your life in ways that defy logic or expectation. Murphy explains that the subconscious responds most powerfully to faith and conviction. When you hold a belief with deep emotional intensity, whether positive or negative, the subconscious takes it as an instruction. Doubt, on the other hand, weakens the message. This is why many people fail to see results. They consciously desire change, but deep down they harbor fear, skepticism, or disbelief. The subconscious mirrors the stronger feeling, not the passing thought. Throughout the chapter, Murphy shares stories of people who experienced remarkable healings or breakthroughs by tapping into this power.
Patients who were told they could not recover defied medical predictions after embracing affirmations of health and wholeness. Individuals trapped in poverty found doors of opportunity open when they shifted from a mindset of lack to one of abundance. In each case, the change began in the invisible realm of thought and belief long before it appeared in the visible world. He highlights the importance of imagination in this process. When you vividly picture the outcome you desire, seeing it as real, feeling it as though it has already happened, you impress that vision upon the subconscious. The subconscious does not distinguish between real and imagined experiences. It accepts both as fact and works to make the imagined scenario tangible. Murphy also emphasizes persistence. Just as it takes time for a seed to grow into a tree, it takes time for subconscious impressions to manifest in life. Many give up too soon, abandoning their affirmations and visions before they have had a chance to bear fruit. But those who persist with patience and faith discover that the subconscious eventually delivers results, often in ways more surprising and perfect than they could have planned. The central message of this chapter is that the subconscious mind contains within it limitless power. When guided by faith, imagination, and persistence, it becomes a miracle-working force that can reshape health, circumstances, and destiny.
Chapter 4. Mental Healings in Ancient Times. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy takes us on a historical journey, showing how the power of the subconscious mind has been recognized and applied across different cultures and civilizations for thousands of years. Long before modern psychology or neuroscience, people intuitively understood that belief, imagination, and suggestion could bring about healing and transformation. Murphy describes how ancient temples often served as centers of both spiritual and physical healing. In Greece, for example, individuals would visit the temples of Asclepius, the god of medicine. There, they underwent rituals, prayers, and visualizations designed to impress upon the subconscious the idea of health and recovery. In India, the practice of meditation and mantra chanting helped believers align their minds with divine power, creating conditions for mental and physical well-being. Similarly, in Egypt and the Near East, healers used symbols, affirmations, and rituals to awaken inner forces of healing. The common thread in all these traditions was faith and expectation. Patients believed deeply in the healing power of the rituals, and this faith, combined with symbolic actions, opened the subconscious to suggestion. The subconscious, once convinced, activated the body's natural healing processes or shifted the person's circumstances in ways that appeared miraculous. Murphy is careful to point out that these practices were not merely superstition. While they lacked scientific explanation, they revealed a profound truth. The human mind has the power to influence health and reality. Modern science now confirms many of these observations, showing how belief, stress, and positive expectation affect the immune system, hormones, and overall well-being. The lesson of this chapter is that the subconscious mind has always been recognized as a hidden force of healing and transformation. Ancient cultures may have used different methods and languages, but the principle was the same. What the mind deeply believes, the body and life eventually express. Murphy encourages us to learn from these examples. If people in ancient times could unlock healing through faith and suggestion, we too can use modern techniques of visualization, affirmation, and meditation to direct the subconscious toward health, harmony, and success. Chapter 5. Mental Healings in Modern Times. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy moves from the ancient world into the modern era, showing that the principles of subconscious healing are not bound to history. They are alive and active today. The subconscious mind continues to respond to belief, suggestion, and imagination, regardless of culture or age. Murphy shares contemporary stories of people who overcame illness, limitation, and despair through the power of mental imagery and faith. Some experienced recovery from chronic disease by consistently affirming health and visualizing themselves as whole and strong. Others broke free from habits like alcoholism or anxiety by impressing new, life-giving ideas upon their subconscious. He emphasizes that these healings are not random miracles. They follow a law. The subconscious accepts as truth whatever is impressed upon it with feeling and repetition. When a person confidently affirms, "I am healthy, I am free, I am whole," and holds that vision with persistence, the subconscious begins to reorganize the body and mind in line with that belief. Murphy also draws attention to the role of doctors and therapists. Many medical healings, he explains, succeed not only because of the medicine itself, but also because of the patient's belief in the treatment. When a doctor assures a patient with confidence, that suggestion penetrates the subconscious and mobilizes healing forces. This is why the placebo effect, where an inactive substance produces real results, has been observed in countless studies. It is not the pill, but the belief in the pill that triggers change. At the same time, Murphy warns that negative suggestions can be just as powerful. If a patient is told that their condition is hopeless and they accept this idea, the subconscious may accelerate decline. This is why guarding the mind against destructive words and thoughts is as important as feeding it constructive ones. The practical takeaway from this chapter is clear. Modern healings, like ancient ones, are rooted in the same principle, the law of belief. By consciously choosing thoughts of health, strength, and harmony, and rejecting fear and despair, anyone can activate the creative power of the subconscious and invite healing into their lives.
Chapter 6. Practical Techniques in Mental Healings. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy shifts from theory to application. He knows that principles alone are not enough. People need clear, practical methods to train the subconscious mind and unlock its healing powers. Here, he provides a collection of techniques that anyone can practice daily to invite health, balance, and peace into their lives. One of the key techniques is affirmation. Murphy emphasizes that affirmations should always be phrased in the positive, present tense and infused with feeling. For example, instead of saying, "I will not be sick," one should affirm, "I am strong, healthy, and full of energy." The subconscious does not respond to negatives or future tense. It only accepts what is presented as real and true in the moment. Another method is visualization. Murphy describes the subconscious as a movie screen on which vivid images leave lasting impressions. If a person imagines themselves walking freely, enjoying life, and living with vitality, the subconscious begins to work toward making that picture a reality. Visualization becomes most powerful when practiced regularly, especially before sleep or during states of relaxation, when the mind is most receptive. He also introduces the practice of prayer of gratitude. Instead of begging or pleading for healing, Murphy suggests giving thanks as if the healing has already occurred. This act of gratitude convinces the subconscious that the desired condition is already true, and the body and mind begin aligning with that belief. Murphy provides examples of people who applied these methods with remarkable results. A man who had suffered from a paralyzed hand began repeating affirmations of strength while vividly picturing himself writing and holding objects. Over time, his hand regained movement. Another woman overcame chronic insomnia by affirming peace and imagining herself falling asleep calmly each night. The subconscious accepted these instructions, and her body responded with restful sleep. The chapter also stresses the importance of repetition and persistence. Just as habits are formed by repeated actions, healing impressions are established through repeated thoughts. Even when results are not immediate, the subconscious is always at work, quietly reorganizing and restoring the body according to the mental blueprint it receives. Ultimately, Murphy reassures readers that these techniques are not complicated rituals. They are simple, natural processes of working with the subconscious mind. Anyone can apply them, young or old, sick or healthy, religious or non-religious. The key is consistency, faith, and the willingness to replace fear with constructive belief.
Chapter 7. The Tendency of the Subconscious is Lifeward. Joseph Murphy begins this chapter with a profound insight. The subconscious mind always moves toward life, health, and wholeness. Its natural inclination is constructive, not destructive. Just as plants lean toward the sunlight and rivers flow toward the sea, the subconscious directs us toward growth, healing, and fulfillment, unless we interfere with it through fear, doubt, or negativity. Murphy insists that this truth should be a source of great reassurance. Within each of us exists a silent, guiding force that constantly works to maintain balance and preserve life. Consider how the subconscious controls our heartbeat, digestion, and immune system. Even when we sleep, it repairs cells, fights disease, and restores energy. Its very nature is to keep us alive and well. The only obstacle to this lifeward movement is the conscious mind's habit of planting harmful thoughts that contradict the natural flow. To highlight this, Murphy uses several real-life examples. He tells of people who were consumed by fear of illness or failure, and how those fears, once accepted by the subconscious, manifested in their lives as sickness or setbacks. But when these same individuals replaced fear with trust and fed the subconscious with affirmations of health and success, their lives began to change. The subconscious responded, not because it was deciding between good or bad, but because it simply acted upon the dominant thoughts it was given. This is why Murphy stresses the need for harmony between the conscious and the subconscious. If we consciously affirm life, strength, and love, we align ourselves with the natural current of the subconscious. But if we insist on dwelling in worry or resentment, we create inner conflict that blocks the lifeward tendency. Murphy also draws attention to the concept of faith, not merely religious faith, but a deep trust in the positive forces at work within us. He explains that when people truly believe in recovery, opportunity, or peace, their subconscious accepts that belief and begins to shape conditions that match it. Faith in this sense is not blind optimism, but a deliberate choice to cooperate with the subconscious mind's natural direction toward life. Toward the end of the chapter, Murphy urges readers to see themselves as gardeners of their own minds. The subconscious soil will always bring forth growth, but the type of growth depends on the seeds planted. If we sow seeds of fear and doubt, we reap weeds of suffering. If we sow seeds of hope, joy, and health, we harvest abundance. The lesson of this chapter is clear. We do not need to force our subconscious to heal or prosper. It already leans in that direction. Our task is to stop resisting it with negative thinking and to consciously feed it with life-affirming beliefs. By doing so, we cooperate with the deepest force within us, and our lives begin to reflect the harmony and vitality that the subconscious was designed to create.
Chapter 8. How to get the results you want. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy shifts his focus to a very practical and motivating question. How can we use the power of the subconscious mind to deliberately shape the results we desire in life? Up to this point, Murphy has shown us the vast potential of the subconscious mind, its natural tendency toward healing and life, and its responsiveness to suggestion. Now he offers a clear roadmap for turning that potential into concrete results. Murphy begins by stressing the power of clarity. The subconscious cannot act upon vague wishes or scattered thoughts. If you merely say, "I want to be happy," or "I want success," your subconscious does not have a specific blueprint to work with. Instead, you must define your desires with precision. For example, "I am grateful for my thriving business that provides value to others," or "I enjoy radiant health and peace of mind every day." Clear, detailed images provide the subconscious with a target, and once imprinted, it will tirelessly work toward manifesting them. The next key principle is belief. Murphy insists that results flow not from mere repetition of words, but from conviction. If you affirm something but secretly doubt it, the subconscious picks up on the doubt and acts accordingly. The goal, then, is to cultivate genuine faith in the possibility of what you desire. This can be achieved by visualizing your goal as already accomplished and feeling the emotions that would naturally accompany its realization: joy, relief, gratitude. Murphy illustrates this with stories of people who overcame limitations by applying these principles. One businessman who faced financial collapse began affirming each night before sleep, "I am advancing, growing, and succeeding. Infinite intelligence directs me in all my affairs." Despite external circumstances, he persisted in planting these seeds. Within months, new opportunities appeared, and his business not only recovered, but expanded. The subconscious responded because it had provided it with faith-driven instructions. Another method Murphy emphasizes is the power of repetition. Just as a drop of water falling on stone eventually leaves an impression, repeated affirmations and visualizations penetrate the subconscious over time. Consistency matters more than intensity. 10 minutes of daily focused practice can be more transformative than occasional bursts of enthusiasm. Importantly, Murphy cautions against conflicting thoughts. If you affirm prosperity but spend the rest of the day worrying about bills, you are sending mixed signals to the subconscious. To get the results you want, your conscious thoughts, feelings, and actions must align harmoniously with the vision you are planting. The subconscious thrives on consistency and clarity. Finally, Murphy highlights the importance of gratitude and detachment. Gratitude reinforces faith by treating the desired result as already on its way, while detachment allows the subconscious to unfold it in the best possible way and time. Instead of forcing outcomes, we cooperate with the natural flow of life, confident that the subconscious is aligning conditions for our good. The lesson of this chapter is empowering. Achieving the results you want is not about luck or chance. It is about learning to use the laws of the mind deliberately. By giving the subconscious a clear blueprint, feeding it with belief, reinforcing it with repetition, and aligning daily thoughts with the desired outcome, you transform the invisible realm of thought into visible reality. Chapter 9. How to use the power of your subconscious mind for wealth. Joseph Murphy begins this chapter with an essential reminder. Wealth is not a matter of luck, nor is it the exclusive right of a privileged few. Rather, it is the result of aligning your subconscious mind with thoughts of abundance, prosperity, and growth.
The subconscious responds to the ideas we impress upon it, and when we continually feed it images of scarcity, poverty, or limitation, it faithfully reproduces those conditions in our lives. But when we sow thoughts of plenty, coupled with faith and gratitude, the subconscious opens the channels of wealth and opportunity. Murphy stresses that true wealth begins in the mind. Many people mistakenly chase money without first cultivating an inner sense of prosperity. They focus on what they lack, constantly repeating phrases like, "I can't afford this," or "money is hard to come by." Such statements act as negative affirmations that program the subconscious to keep them in financial struggle. By contrast, those who hold the belief that wealth is their natural right and that opportunities for abundance are always present, find themselves attracting circumstances that match this belief. He highlights the role of affirmations of abundance. Simple, powerful statements like, "I am attracting wealth in wonderful and unexpected ways," or "infinite riches are flowing to me now," can begin to reshape the subconscious. Murphy encourages readers to repeat these affirmations daily, particularly in a relaxed state before sleep, when the subconscious is most receptive. Visualization is another powerful tool. He suggests that you picture yourself enjoying the benefits of financial freedom, paying bills with ease, living in comfort, contributing generously to causes you care about. These vivid mental pictures, impressed with feeling, act as blueprints that the subconscious works to bring into reality. Murphy also dismantles the fear of money that often blocks prosperity. Some people, influenced by cultural or religious conditioning, view money as evil or corrupting. Murphy insists that money is neutral. It is simply a symbol of exchange, a tool that can be used for good or ill depending on the intentions of its possessor. If one sees money as a blessing, a means of service, and a reward for creative contribution, then one naturally becomes open to its flow. If, however, one clings to the belief that money is tainted or dangerous, the subconscious creates conditions that repel it. He gives practical examples of people who transformed their financial lives by changing their inner attitudes. One man, long stuck in debt, began each morning by affirming, "I am a magnet for divine abundance, and I give thanks for the wealth that is mine now." Within months, new clients and business opportunities appeared, lifting him out of financial hardship. The turning point was not external. It was his inner shift from fear and resentment to gratitude and expectancy. Finally, Murphy emphasizes the importance of service and value. Wealth does not appear magically. It flows through the channels of usefulness. Those who dedicate themselves to offering genuine value to others, whether through products, services, or creative ideas, align themselves with the universal laws of abundance. The subconscious then magnifies their efforts, guiding them toward the right people, circumstances, and opportunities that increase wealth. The key takeaway of this chapter is profound yet simple. Wealth is a state of consciousness before it becomes a state of bank balance. By filling the subconscious with thoughts of abundance, gratitude, and value, and by rejecting beliefs of lack and limitation, anyone can attract financial prosperity in alignment with life's natural laws. Chapter 10. Your Right to be Rich. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy makes a bold and liberating claim. Wealth, abundance, and prosperity are not privileges reserved for the few. They are the birthright of every human being. Just as we have the right to breathe, to love, and to think, we also have the right to live richly in mind, body, and spirit. To deny this truth, Murphy argues, is to misunderstand the very nature of life itself. He begins by addressing the false belief that poverty is somehow noble or virtuous. For centuries, cultural and religious traditions have glorified scarcity, teaching people that wealth corrupts and that holiness lies in deprivation. Murphy challenges this idea directly. He insists that there is nothing spiritual about lack, for the universe itself is abundant.
From the countless stars in the sky to the fertile soil that yields crops in abundance, creation reflects a principle of plenty, not shortage. If we live in lack, it is not because life has failed us, but because we have failed to align our subconscious mind with the truth of abundance. Murphy emphasizes that wealth takes many forms, not only money, but health, love, creativity, and peace of mind. Yet financial wealth is an important aspect of this richness because it allows us to live freely, to provide for our families, and to contribute generously to society. He reminds readers that money is simply a tool of exchange, a symbol of value. To condemn money is to condemn one of the very instruments that enables us to serve and uplift others. He offers the example of people who believe in lack and constantly declare, "I can't afford it," or "I'll never be rich." These words are seeds planted in the subconscious. In the harvest is a life of limitation. By contrast, those who affirm their right to abundance and expect prosperity as part of life's natural order often see doors open and opportunities multiply. Murphy presents practical steps for claiming this right. The first is acceptance, acknowledging that wealth is not something foreign or unreachable, but something already available, waiting to be expressed through us. The second is affirmation, regularly impressing upon the subconscious statements like, "I have a divine right to be rich, happy, and successful. Wealth is flowing to me freely and abundantly." These affirmations, charged with faith and feeling, begin to reshape the subconscious blueprint from scarcity to prosperity. He also stresses the importance of gratitude. When we give thanks for the wealth we already possess, whether it is a small income, good health, or supportive relationships, we open the subconscious to receive more. Gratitude is a signal of alignment with abundance, and the subconscious responds by attracting further blessings. Toward the end of the chapter, Murphy reframes wealth as a form of responsibility. To be rich is not only to enjoy personal comfort, but also to serve others. With wealth, we can build, create, allow. Claiming the right to be rich, therefore, is not selfish. It is an acknowledgement of our role as co-creators with life itself. The central message of this chapter is both empowering and challenging. Wealth is not something we must chase, nor something we should feel guilty about. It is a natural expression of the universe's abundance and our rightful state as human beings. To live richly is to honor the creative force within us and to allow that force to manifest fully in our lives.
Chapter 11. Your subconscious mind as a partner in success. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy highlights one of the most empowering truths of his philosophy. Success is not achieved through struggle, strain, or blind ambition, but through partnership with the subconscious mind. When we recognize the subconscious as our silent but ever-present ally, we tap into a reservoir of creativity, intuition, and strength that can propel us toward achievement in every area of life. Murphy begins by pointing out that many people sabotage their success because they treat it as an external battle, fighting competition, forcing opportunities, or exhausting themselves with worry. In reality, success is an inside-out process. The subconscious mind is always working in harmony with our dominant thoughts and beliefs. If we continually affirm failure, fear, or inadequacy, the subconscious faithfully produces conditions that mirror those beliefs. But if we cultivate an inner vision of success, confident, clear, and consistent, the subconscious becomes our greatest partner, quietly aligning circumstances, drawing the right people, and revealing the best opportunities. He underscores the importance of defining success clearly. Success does not mean the same thing to everyone. For one person, it may be building a thriving business. For another, it may be raising a loving family, excelling in the arts, or serving humanity. The subconscious can only work effectively when it has a definite aim. A vague desire such as, "I want to be successful," is too indefinite. But a clear goal like, "I am building a profitable and ethical business that benefits others," gives the subconscious a precise blueprint. Murphy provides examples of men and women who credited their achievements to the guidance of their subconscious mind. Inventors, writers, and entrepreneurs often reported receiving sudden flashes of insight, solutions in dreams, or creative breakthroughs after periods of quiet reflection. These are not accidents. They are the subconscious mind at work, processing ideas beneath the surface and presenting answers when the conscious mind is still. To harness this power, Murphy suggests practical techniques. Visualization of success. Imagine yourself already living the outcome you desire, giving the speech confidently, publishing the book, leading the successful project. The subconscious absorbs these vivid images as present reality. Affirmations of achievement. Statements like, "I am divinely guided in all my decisions," or "success is flowing to me in harmonious and beneficial ways," impress the subconscious with expectancy. Trust in intuition. Often, the subconscious communicates through hunches or gut feelings. By learning to listen and act on these subtle nudges, we align ourselves with its guidance. Murphy also reminds readers that success should be aligned with integrity and service. The subconscious does not only respond to ambition, it responds most powerfully when goals contribute positively to life. Success that is rooted in greed, exploitation, or dishonesty may appear briefly, but cannot endure because it contradicts the lifeward tendency of the subconscious. True and lasting success is always in harmony with the good of others. The core lesson of this chapter is that you are never alone in your pursuit of success. Beyond your conscious planning and effort lies an inner partner, your subconscious mind, that is infinitely resourceful and unfailingly loyal. When you trust it, feed it clear visions, and act with faith, you unleash a creative power that makes success not a distant dream, but a natural and inevitable outcome.
Chapter 12. Scientists use the subconscious mind. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy turns his attention to the world of science and discovery, showing how some of the greatest breakthroughs in history were not merely the product of conscious reasoning, but of the subconscious mind at work. He argues that many of the world's most brilliant scientists, inventors, and thinkers achieved their discoveries by learning how to cooperate with their subconscious, often without fully realizing it. Murphy begins by reminding us that the conscious mind is limited in its scope. It works step by step, analyzing, comparing, and deducing. The subconscious, on the other hand, operates holistically and intuitively. It can connect ideas, draw upon vast stores of memory, and synthesize solutions far beyond the capacity of deliberate thought. This is why so many scientists report sudden flashes of insight, moments of inspiration that arrive unannounced, often during sleep, relaxation, or periods of distraction. He provides examples of famous cases. The German chemist Friedrich Kekulé struggled to understand the molecular structure of benzene. The answer came to him in a dream, where he envisioned a snake biting its own tail, a symbol that revealed the ring-like structure of the molecule. Similarly, the mathematician Henri Poincaré described how solutions to complex problems often appeared to him suddenly after he had put conscious effort aside.
These breakthroughs were not the result of forcing the mind, but of allowing the subconscious to present its solutions. Murphy explains that this process is universal and available to everyone, not just scientists. Whenever we face a problem, our conscious mind gathers information and sets the intention, but it is the subconscious that processes, combines, and eventually delivers the answer. By trusting this process and giving the subconscious clear instructions, such as asking for a solution before sleep, we invite creative insights into our lives. He offers practical advice for applying this principle. Pose clear questions to your subconscious. For example, infinite intelligence within me, reveal the perfect solution to this problem. Then let go and allow the subconscious to work. Relax and trust. Insights rarely come during strain or worry. They arrive when the conscious mind is calm and receptive. Record inspirations immediately. Many scientists and thinkers carried notebooks to capture sudden flashes of insight, knowing these moments were gifts of the subconscious. Murphy also emphasizes the role of faith in scientific discovery. While experiments and data are essential, the initial leap of creativity, the vision of what might be, is a function of imagination and intuition. By believing that answers exist and that the subconscious can reveal them, scientists place themselves in harmony with the deeper laws of mind. The chapter closes with an inspiring reminder. Every person, regardless of profession, can use the subconscious mind in the same way scientists do. Whether you are solving a business problem, seeking creative inspiration, or trying to improve relationships, the principle is the same. Plant the idea clearly, let the subconscious work in silence, and remain open to the guidance it provides, often in unexpected ways. The great discoveries of history are not just stories of genius. They are proof of the limitless resources of the subconscious mind, resources that are available to all who learn to trust and use them.
Chapter 13. Your Subconscious and the Wonders of Sleep. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy takes us into the mysterious realm of sleep and explains how it serves as one of the most powerful gateways to the subconscious mind. While many people see sleep simply as a time for rest and recovery, Murphy reveals that it is also a period during which the subconscious is highly active, absorbing impressions, processing experiences, and working out solutions to problems that our conscious mind cannot resolve. He begins by noting that sleep is essential not only for physical health, but also for mental and emotional well-being. During sleep, the body repairs itself, the nervous system restores balance, and the mind integrates the events of the day. But beyond these biological functions, the subconscious continues its creative work. It can reveal insights, inspire ideas, and even bring healing when we learn to give it the right instructions before drifting off. Murphy stresses the importance of the last thoughts before sleep. Whatever we impress upon the subconscious in those final moments tends to sink deeply and influence its nightly activity. If we fall asleep worrying about debts, health problems, or failures, the subconscious magnifies those impressions, often leading to restless sleep and more of the same difficulties in waking life. But if we deliberately feed it positive, life-affirming ideas, the subconscious begins to work silently during sleep to bring them into reality. He recommends simple bedtime practices, such as affirmations before sleep, repeating statements like, "I am at peace, my mind and body are healing, tomorrow will be a wonderful day," plant seeds of harmony in the subconscious. Visualization, gently picturing the desired outcome, health, success, reconciliation with a loved one, before falling asleep, allows the subconscious to treat these images as current reality and work toward manifesting them. He also recommends problem-solving prayer, asking the subconscious for guidance, reveal to me the right answer, and then trusting that the answer will emerge, often in a dream or as a sudden idea upon waking. Murphy includes stories of individuals who used sleep to their advantage. A writer struggling with a story would mentally request guidance before bed and wake up with the plot solution. A man facing a business dilemma asked his subconscious for clarity, and within days, he had a dream that pointed him toward the right decision. These are not coincidences, Murphy insists, but the natural workings of the subconscious during rest. He also highlights the healing power of sleep. Many illnesses are aggravated by stress and mental conflict. By filling the mind with calm, hopeful, and healing thoughts before bedtime, people can activate the subconscious's restorative powers, leading to quicker recovery and greater vitality. The lesson of this chapter is both practical and profound. Sleep is not a wasted third of our lives, but a sacred time of renewal and creativity. By consciously shaping the final thoughts of our day, we can turn every night into a workshop of the subconscious, an opportunity for healing, problem-solving, and inner transformation.
Chapter 14. Your Subconscious Mind and Marital Problems. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy addresses one of the most delicate and universal aspects of human life: relationships, particularly marriage. He reminds readers that harmony in marriage is not just a matter of external compatibility, but is deeply influenced by the inner workings of the subconscious mind. Love, trust, and mutual respect, he argues, must first exist in the thoughts and beliefs of each partner before they can be consistently expressed in daily life. Murphy begins by explaining that many marital difficulties stem from subconscious patterns carried into the relationship. If a person has grown up with negative beliefs about love, self-worth, or trust, those impressions often play out unconsciously in their marriage. For example, someone who subconsciously believes they are unworthy of love may sabotage intimacy, misinterpret their partner's actions, or attract conflict without realizing it. In this sense, the subconscious can either be an ally that nurtures love or a hidden obstacle that poisons it. He emphasizes the power of mental imagery in relationships. If one constantly envisions arguments, betrayal, or disappointment, the subconscious accepts these images and works to reproduce them. But if one deliberately imagines harmony, kindness, and mutual growth, the subconscious begins to influence behavior and circumstances in ways that strengthen the bond. In short, what you dwell upon mentally, you help to create emotionally and practically. Murphy also highlights the importance of affirmations of love and respect. Simple practices like silently affirming, "I radiate love and goodwill to my partner," and "my partner radiates love and goodwill to me," can reshape the emotional climate of a relationship. Even if tensions exist, the subconscious responds to these repeated statements and gradually softens attitudes, encourages patience, and fosters reconciliation. Practical examples illustrate this point. He tells of couples who were on the verge of divorce but chose to change their mental habits. By focusing on their partner's positive qualities, affirming mutual love, and refusing to dwell on grievances, they began to see remarkable shifts. Arguments decreased, understanding grew, and the subconscious reinforced the new, healthier patterns. At the same time, Murphy warns against the dangers of resentment and negativity. Holding on to bitterness not only damages the relationship, but also poisons the individual who harbors it. The subconscious mind magnifies whatever emotions it receives, so constant anger or suspicion inevitably leads to further disharmony. Forgiveness, therefore, is not simply a moral duty, but a psychological necessity. To forgive is to release oneself from the destructive grip of negative subconscious conditioning. Toward the end of the chapter, Murphy expands the lesson beyond marriage. The principles of subconscious influence apply to all relationships, between parents and children, friends, or colleagues. Wherever love, respect, and understanding are impressed upon the subconscious, harmony naturally follows. The key message is clear. Successful relationships are built not only on external actions, but on the invisible foundation of subconscious belief. By feeding the subconscious with thoughts of love, patience, and goodwill, we create an inner climate that allows marriage and all human bonds to flourish in peace and joy.
Chapter 15. Your Subconscious Mind and Your Happiness. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy turns to a subject that every human being longs for: happiness. He emphasizes that happiness is not something to be pursued in the outside world. It is a state of mind, a choice, and, above all, a product of the images and beliefs we impress upon the subconscious. Murphy begins with a striking observation. Many people postpone happiness. They say, "I'll be happy when I get married, when I get a better job, when I move to a new home, when I achieve this or that." But such a mindset keeps happiness forever in the future, just out of reach. True joy, he argues, can only be experienced in the present moment, and it comes from within. The subconscious plays a central role in this. When we tell ourselves that happiness depends on external conditions, we program the subconscious to always expect it later, never now. On the other hand, if we affirm and believe, "I am happy now, I choose happiness now," the subconscious accepts this as truth and begins to shape our emotions and perceptions accordingly. Murphy underlines that happiness is not tied to possessions, social status, or external achievements. These things can provide temporary pleasure, but lasting joy springs from a mind at peace. The subconscious mind, when fed with thoughts of gratitude, kindness, and love, becomes a constant source of serenity, regardless of circumstances. He also draws attention to the destructive habit of dwelling on unhappiness. People who continually complain, rehearse grievances, or imagine worst-case scenarios impress these patterns on their subconscious, which then faithfully reproduces them in their daily emotional life. It becomes a cycle of self-sabotage. Negative thoughts create inner gloom, which in turn makes the world appear darker and heavier. One of Murphy's most powerful suggestions is the use of affirmations and gratitude as tools for happiness. By repeatedly affirming statements such as, "Happiness is my natural state. I give thanks for the joy of life," the subconscious begins to align with this truth. Gratitude, in particular, shifts the mental focus away from what is lacking and magnifies what is already present and good, reinforcing a cycle of contentment. The chapter is filled with practical examples. Murphy describes individuals who were plagued by depression or dissatisfaction until they changed their subconscious programming. By focusing each day on positive affirmations, visualizing themselves happy, and consciously rejecting negative inner dialogue, they gradually built a deeper sense of joy that was not shaken by outer circumstances. He also stresses that happiness is contagious. When you cultivate happiness within, it radiates outward to others. The subconscious not only shapes personal emotions, but also influences how others perceive and respond to us. A happy person naturally attracts goodwill, opportunities, and healthier relationships, creating a reinforcing circle of positivity. Finally, Murphy reminds readers that happiness is not selfish, it is essential. A happy mind is creative, resilient, and generous. It inspires others and brings harmony to the world around it. Thus, choosing happiness is not only a personal blessing, but also a contribution to society. The conclusion of the chapter is both simple and profound. Happiness is a decision you make with your conscious mind and a state you anchor in your subconscious. By consistently planting seeds of joy, gratitude, and peace, you harvest a life of lasting fulfillment.
Chapter 16. Your Subconscious Mind and Harmonious Human Relations.
In this chapter, Joseph Murphy explores one of the most practical applications of the subconscious mind, building healthy, loving, and harmonious relationships with others. He begins with a timeless truth. The way you think and feel about others is ultimately a reflection of how you think and feel about yourself. Since the subconscious is always at work, magnifying the beliefs impressed upon it, negative thoughts toward others inevitably harm both sides, while positive thoughts create peace and cooperation. Murphy emphasizes that many conflicts, whether in marriage, family, or work, are rooted in subconscious patterns of resentment, fear, or insecurity. People often project their inner turmoil onto those around them, seeing enemies or obstacles where there are none. The subconscious, filled with suspicion or hostility, reproduces situations that confirm those expectations. This is why some individuals seem to move from one broken relationship to another. They carry unresolved negative patterns in their inner world. The key to harmonious human relations, Murphy teaches, is to impress the subconscious with thoughts of goodwill, love, and respect. He suggests that when you meet someone, instead of focusing on their flaws, silently affirm to yourself, "I wish this person peace, health, success, and happiness." This mental habit, practiced consistently, transforms how others respond to you. Because the subconscious mind communicates beyond words, it radiates feelings, attitudes, and vibrations. What you hold within eventually shapes the atmosphere of your relationships. Murphy shares striking examples of individuals who resolved bitter conflicts by changing their mental approach. A businessman, constantly at odds with a colleague, began each day by affirming, "I think well of him, I project harmony, and I see him as cooperative and kind." Within weeks, the relationship shifted dramatically, not because the colleague changed first, but because the subconscious influence of goodwill dissolved the tension. The same principle applies in marriage and family life. Murphy warns against dwelling on the shortcomings of a spouse or relative. Complaining, criticizing, or mentally rehearsing their faults only reinforces those very patterns in the subconscious. Instead, he advises focusing on the qualities you wish to see, affirming them with gratitude, and visualizing a harmonious home. Over time, the subconscious helps to bring these images into reality. A particularly powerful point in this chapter is Murphy's reminder that what you give out mentally, you receive back multiplied. Sending thoughts of envy, anger, or hostility creates a cycle that returns those feelings to you, often through conflict or loneliness. But sending out love and blessing establishes a current of goodwill that not only improves relationships, but also strengthens inner peace. He also addresses the universal law of forgiveness. Holding grudges poisons the subconscious, producing both emotional and physical harm. True forgiveness, Murphy explains, is not excusing bad behavior, but consciously choosing to release resentment and replace it with a prayer for the other person's well-being. This act liberates the subconscious from destructive patterns and opens the door to healing relationships. The chapter closes with a profound reminder. Harmonious relations are not achieved by demanding others to change, but by transforming the inner dialogue you feed the subconscious. As you nurture love, respect, and kindness within, the subconscious radiates these qualities outward, reshaping your world. In short, Murphy teaches that relationships are mirrors of the subconscious mind. By cultivating positive inner patterns, you invite peace, joy, and understanding into every human interaction.
Chapter 17. How to use your subconscious mind for forgiveness. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy focuses on one of the most transformative powers of the subconscious mind, forgiveness.
He insists that forgiveness is not merely a moral duty, but a psychological and spiritual necessity for health, peace, and success. Murphy begins by pointing out that many people misunderstand forgiveness. They think it means excusing harmful behavior or pretending nothing wrong was done. But true forgiveness, he explains, is a decision to release resentment and hostility from the subconscious mind. Holding on to anger or grudges traps you in a cycle of pain, while letting go frees you to live with inner peace. The subconscious, Murphy emphasizes, cannot thrive when filled with bitterness. Negative emotions poison not only the mind, but also the body, creating stress, tension, and even illness. By refusing to forgive, you keep reliving the injury, impressing the subconscious again and again with destructive thoughts. The result is a life weighed down by unhappiness. Murphy shares moving examples of people who experienced profound healing once they embraced forgiveness. One woman, tormented for years by hatred toward a family member, began to affirm daily, "I fully and freely forgive. I release and I let go. Peace fills my soul." In time, her subconscious accepted this truth, and she not only felt emotional relief, but also saw physical symptoms of illness disappear. Forgiveness, Murphy explains, is not primarily for the other person, it is for yourself. The person who wronged you may never apologize, may never even acknowledge the harm. But by forgiving, you cut the mental chain that binds you to the past. You reclaim your freedom, your energy, and your ability to move forward. He also provides practical techniques for practicing forgiveness. Affirmations. Repeating statements such as, "I release this person into peace. I am free, and so are they." Visualization. Imagining the person bathed in light, happy and at peace, until the mental image shifts from anger to goodwill. Prayer. Sincerely wishing the other person health, happiness, and harmony, regardless of whether they deserve it in human terms. Murphy reminds us that the subconscious is impressionable. It responds to the repeated images and words we feed it. Even if forgiveness feels impossible at first, persistent practice of affirmations and visualization gradually erases old resentments, replacing them with serenity. The chapter closes with a profound message. Forgiveness is not weakness, but strength. It is an act of mastery over the subconscious mind. By choosing to forgive, you unlock reservoirs of peace, creativity, and vitality. The past no longer chains you. Instead, your subconscious becomes an engine of renewal, guiding you into a brighter, freer future.
Chapter 18. How your subconscious mind removes mental blocks. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy addresses a problem that nearly everyone faces at some point: mental blocks. These are invisible barriers in the mind that prevent us from achieving goals, expressing creativity, or moving forward with confidence. They may appear as fear, procrastination, self-doubt, or the feeling of being stuck. Murphy explains that mental blocks are not permanent obstacles. They are simply the result of negative conditioning in the subconscious. When the subconscious has been impressed with thoughts like, "I can't," "I'm not good enough," or "this is impossible," it begins to act out those beliefs, creating paralysis and frustration. But just as the subconscious can be programmed with defeat, it can also be reprogrammed with faith, confidence, and persistence. The solution, Murphy insists, is to relax the mind and feed the subconscious new ideas. Straining, forcing, or worrying only strengthens the block, because tension shuts off the creative flow of the subconscious. Instead, you must learn to let go, trust the deeper intelligence within, and affirm positive outcomes. He gives several techniques to dissolve mental blocks. relaxation, and sleep. Many breakthroughs occur when the conscious mind rests. By affirming your goal before sleep, such as infinite intelligence in my subconscious is guiding me to the solution now, you allow the subconscious to work freely, often producing insight the next day. Visualization. Imagine yourself calmly and successfully doing the very thing that feels blocked. If you fear public speaking, visualize yourself speaking confidently to an audience. If you feel stuck in writing or problem solving, picture the work flowing smoothly. The subconscious accepts these images and begins to remove resistance. Faith over fear. Murphy highlights that fear is the greatest mental block. Fear paralyzes creativity and shuts down possibilities. The antidote is faith. Faith in the power of your subconscious, faith in the guidance of universal intelligence. Affirming, "The solution comes to me now, I am free, I am capable," replaces fear with confidence. He shares compelling stories of individuals who overcame mental blocks. A young writer, unable to finish his manuscript, began practicing nightly affirmations of clarity and inspiration. Within weeks, his subconscious released the block and his creativity flowed again. Similarly, a businessman facing repeated failures shifted his inner dialogue from "I can't succeed" to "I am guided to success, I am worthy of achievement." His subconscious reorganized his thinking, and new opportunities appeared. Murphy also reminds us that mental blocks often mask hidden strengths. What appears as a barrier is really the subconscious asking for a new direction, a new approach, or a fresh belief. By trusting this process, you transform obstacles into stepping stones for growth. The chapter ends with a liberating truth. The subconscious mind does not want you trapped. It is always seeking to move you forward, to release energy, and to express creativity. When you align your conscious thoughts with faith, calm, and constructive images, the subconscious effortlessly dissolves blocks and opens the way to freedom.
Chapter 19. How to use your subconscious mind to get results. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy shifts from theory into direct practice, showing readers exactly how to harness the subconscious mind to achieve tangible results. He emphasizes that success in any area of life, health, relationships, wealth, or personal growth, depends on a clear understanding of how to communicate with the subconscious and a disciplined commitment to doing so regularly. Murphy explains that many people fail to get results because they approach the subconscious in a half-hearted or contradictory way. They may affirm something positive, like, "I am successful," but then spend the rest of the day worrying, doubting, or complaining. These conflicting signals cancel each other out, leaving the subconscious confused. The key, he insists, is consistency and emotional conviction. Whatever you repeatedly impress on the subconscious with feeling and faith becomes your reality. He outlines practical steps for getting results. 1. Define your desire clearly. The subconscious responds best to precise instructions. Instead of vaguely wishing for a better life, specify exactly what you want, whether it's a new career, improved health, or harmonious relationships. Clarity acts like a blueprint for the subconscious to follow. 2. Visualize the desired outcome. Create a vivid mental picture of your goal already accomplished. For example, if you want financial freedom, picture yourself receiving checks, paying bills easily, or living comfortably. The subconscious doesn't distinguish between imagined and real experiences. It accepts the mental image as reality and begins working to manifest it. 3. Use affirmations with emotion. Words alone are not enough. The subconscious responds to the emotional intensity behind the words.
Repeat affirmations like, "I am guided to success in all I do," with deep feeling, as if the result is already true. 4. Relax and trust the process. Strain and anxiety block the flow of the subconscious. Once you've impressed the idea through visualization and affirmation, let go of worry. Trust that the subconscious is working behind the scenes, arranging circumstances, and guiding your actions. 5. Act in alignment with your belief. The subconscious opens doors, but you must walk through them. When opportunities appear, take action confidently, knowing they are part of the answer to your request. Murphy illustrates these principles with real-life examples. A woman seeking to sell her home struggled for months with no buyers. After she began visualizing the house sold and affirming daily, "Divine order sells my house quickly and perfectly," a buyer appeared within 2 weeks. Another man stuck in a failing business shifted his subconscious programming from "I always lose" to "I am guided to prosperity and right action." New ideas and partnerships emerged, turning his finances around. Murphy stresses that results often come in surprising ways. The subconscious works through intuition, coincidences, and unexpected channels. What matters is not controlling how the answer comes, but maintaining faith that it will come. The chapter closes with a powerful reminder. You are always getting results from your subconscious mind, whether positive or negative. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, or limitation, you harvest struggle. But if you sow seeds of faith, clarity, and abundance, you inevitably reap success. The law is constant. As you think and feel, so shall it be.
Chapter 20. How Scientists Use the Subconscious Mind. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy demonstrates how the subconscious mind has been a silent partner in some of the greatest scientific discoveries and breakthroughs in history. He argues that science and spirituality are not enemies, but companions. Both draw upon the same universal laws of the mind. The difference is that while scientists may call it intuition or the creative unconscious, Murphy calls it the subconscious mind. Murphy begins by noting that countless scientists, inventors, and thinkers have reported sudden flashes of inspiration, often arriving in dreams, moments of relaxation, or while their conscious minds were occupied with unrelated tasks. This is because the subconscious, once given a problem or desire, continues to work on it tirelessly beneath the surface, eventually delivering solutions in unexpected moments. He gives examples of famous discoveries. Elias Howe, who struggled for years to invent the sewing machine, finally solved the problem after a dream in which he saw a spear with a hole near its tip, leading to the idea of a needle with the eye at the point. Friedrich August Kekulé, the chemist, discovered the ring structure of the benzene molecule after dreaming of a snake biting its own tail, a symbol of circular form. Albert Einstein often spoke of his reliance on imagination and intuition, once saying that imagination is more important than knowledge. Murphy highlights that in each case, the conscious mind worked hard to define the problem, but the breakthrough came only after the subconscious mind was given space to operate. This shows the partnership between the two minds. The conscious sets the question, the subconscious delivers the answer. He also emphasizes that anyone, not only scientists, can use this method. The process involves 3 simple steps. 1. Consciously define the problem. Write down the challenge clearly or think about it deeply. This step gives your subconscious a clear assignment. 2. Turn the problem over to the subconscious. Before sleep
or during relaxation, affirm something like, "My subconscious has the perfect answer. It reveals it to me clearly and effortlessly." 3. Be receptive to insights. The solution may come as a dream, a sudden intuition, or a quiet idea while walking or resting. The key is to trust and remain open. Murphy tells the story of a medical doctor who relied heavily on this process. When confronted with difficult diagnoses, the doctor would relax before sleep and ask his subconscious to reveal the answer. Many times, he awoke with clarity about the patient's condition, later confirmed by tests. The subconscious, Murphy stresses, is a storehouse of infinite intelligence. It is connected to universal wisdom that transcends the limits of the individual conscious mind. This is why breakthroughs often feel like they come from outside the person, even though they arise within. He concludes the chapter with an empowering message. Whether you are a scientist, an artist, a business person, or simply someone facing daily challenges, you have access to this creative power. By learning to engage your subconscious mind through faith, relaxation, and receptivity, you can find answers, insights, and innovations that transform your life.
Chapter 21. Your Subconscious and the Wonders of Sleep. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy reveals the profound connection between the subconscious mind and the natural process of sleep. Far from being a mere period of rest, sleep is portrayed as a time when the subconscious becomes most active, repairing the body, consolidating memory, and working on the problems handed to it by the conscious mind. Murphy begins by pointing out that many of the world's greatest insights, creative works, and even scientific breakthroughs have come through dreams or states of deep rest. When the conscious mind surrenders, the subconscious is free to operate without interference, tapping into higher intelligence and delivering solutions in symbolic or direct forms. He stresses that the state of mind before sleep is critical. Whatever thoughts dominate your consciousness as you drift off are impressed deeply upon the subconscious, which then magnifies and acts upon them during the night. This is why going to bed with worry, anger, or fear often leads to restless nights and anxious dreams, while going to sleep with thoughts of peace, gratitude, and harmony produces calm rest and creative insights. Murphy offers practical advice for using sleep as a powerful tool. 1. Affirm before sleeping. Repeat positive, calming affirmations such as, "I am at peace. My mind is serene. I trust the infinite intelligence of my subconscious to guide and restore me." 2. Give the subconscious a problem to solve. If you are facing a challenge, clearly state the question in your mind before sleep, then confidently declare, "The answer comes to me clearly and directly." Often, the subconscious will deliver the solution in a dream or as a fresh idea upon waking. 3. Visualize desired outcomes. As you fall asleep, imagine yourself already living the life you desire, healthy, successful, harmonious. The subconscious will work to make these images reality. Murphy also emphasizes the healing power of sleep. During deep rest, the subconscious directs vital energy to repair tissues, restore balance, and strengthen the immune system. People who cultivate restful sleep through trust and relaxation often experience faster recovery from illness and greater vitality. He warns against the destructive habit of replaying worries at bedtime. Doing so impresses the subconscious with fear and negativity, leading to disturbed sleep and perpetuating problems. Instead, he advises making bedtime a sacred ritual of peace, where you cleanse the mind of the day's anxieties and surrender to the infinite wisdom within. Murphy shares accounts of individuals who used sleep programming to transform their lives.
One businessman, facing constant stress, began affirming each night, "Tomorrow will bring success, peace, and right action. My subconscious is guiding me." He soon found himself waking refreshed, solving problems with clarity, and attracting better opportunities. The chapter closes with a reassuring truth. Sleep is not an escape from life, but a gateway to the subconscious mind's limitless resources. By approaching it with awareness and intention, we can turn every night's rest into a time of renewal, healing, and inspiration.
Chapter 21. Your Subconscious and the Wonders of Sleep. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy reveals the profound connection between the subconscious mind and the natural process of sleep. Far from being a mere period of rest, sleep is portrayed as a time when the subconscious becomes most active, repairing the body, consolidating memory, and working on the problems handed to it by the conscious mind. Murphy begins by pointing out that many of the world's greatest insights, creative works, and even scientific breakthroughs have come through dreams or states of deep rest. When the conscious mind surrenders, the subconscious is free to operate without interference, tapping into higher intelligence and delivering solutions in symbolic or direct forms. He stresses that the state of mind before sleep is critical. Whatever thoughts dominate your consciousness as you drift off are impressed deeply upon the subconscious, which then magnifies and acts upon them during the night. This is why going to bed with worry, anger, or fear often leads to restless nights and anxious dreams, while going to sleep with thoughts of peace, gratitude, and harmony produces calm rest and creative insights. Murphy offers practical advice for using sleep as a powerful tool. 1. Affirm before sleeping. Repeat positive, calming affirmations such as, "I am at peace. My mind is serene. I trust the infinite intelligence of my subconscious to guide and restore me." 2. Give the subconscious a problem to solve. If you are facing a challenge, clearly state the question in your mind before sleep, then confidently declare, "The answer comes to me clearly and directly." Often, the subconscious will deliver the solution in a dream or as a fresh idea upon waking. 3. Visualize desired outcomes. As you fall asleep, imagine yourself already living the life you desire, healthy, successful, harmonious. The subconscious will work to make these images reality. Murphy also emphasizes the healing power of sleep. During deep rest, the subconscious directs vital energy to repair tissues, restore balance, and strengthen the immune system. People who cultivate restful sleep through trust and relaxation often experience faster recovery from illness and greater vitality. He warns against the destructive habit of replaying worries at bedtime. Doing so impresses the subconscious with fear and negativity, leading to disturbed sleep and perpetuating problems. Instead, he advises making bedtime a sacred ritual of peace, where you cleanse the mind of the day's anxieties and surrender to the infinite wisdom within. Murphy shares accounts of individuals who used sleep programming to transform their lives. One businessman, facing constant stress, began affirming each night, "Tomorrow will bring success, peace, and right action. My subconscious is guiding me." He soon found himself waking refreshed, solving problems with clarity, and attracting better opportunities. The chapter closes with a reassuring truth. Sleep is not an escape from life, but a gateway to the subconscious mind's limitless resources. By approaching it with awareness and intention, we can turn every night's rest into a time of renewal, healing, and inspiration.
Chapter 23. Your Subconscious and Your Children. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy shifts focus to one of the most important responsibilities in life, the influence of parents on their children's subconscious minds. He reminds us that children, especially in their early years, live largely in a subconscious state. They absorb impressions directly, without the filters of logic or critical analysis. Words, attitudes, and emotions from parents become deeply rooted beliefs that often shape the child's destiny. Murphy emphasizes that parents are the first and most powerful programmers of a child's subconscious mind. Constant criticism, harsh words, or negative labels can leave deep wounds that persist into adulthood. For instance, if a child is repeatedly told, "You'll never succeed," or "You're lazy and worthless," those statements can take root in the subconscious, creating self-doubt, fear of failure, and even self-sabotage. Many adult struggles, he explains, are simply the echoes of destructive impressions formed in childhood. On the other hand, children who are surrounded by affirmations of love, encouragement, and belief in their abilities grow up with confidence, resilience, and a sense of self-worth. A parent who consistently says, "You are capable, you are loved, you can achieve great things," implants seeds of strength and success in the child's subconscious, which flourish throughout life. Murphy provides several practical guidelines for parents. 1. Speak words of blessing. Always speak positively about your children, both to them and in their presence. Affirm their talents, intelligence, kindness, and potential. 2. Avoid labels. Do not call children lazy, stupid, or troublesome. Such labels become self-fulfilling prophecies when impressed upon their subconscious minds. 3. Encourage imagination. Children naturally live in imagination. By guiding their imagination toward constructive images, dreams of learning, creating, and achieving, you help train the subconscious to expect success. 4. Model peace and love. Children learn not only from words, but also from the emotional atmosphere of the home. A household filled with love, respect, and harmony nourishes the child's subconscious with stability and security. Murphy shares examples of children whose futures were shaped by subconscious impressions. A boy constantly told he was sickly and weak grew into a frail, fearful adult. In contrast, another child, raised with affirmations of health and strength, became a confident athlete despite an early medical condition. The difference, Murphy explains, lay not in fate, but in the programming of the subconscious mind. He also points out that when children show signs of fear, anxiety, or misbehavior, parents should avoid harsh punishment or criticism. Instead, they should plant seeds of reassurance and love in the child's subconscious. For example, if a child is afraid of school, a parent might calmly repeat, "You are safe, you are loved, and school is a place of learning and joy." With consistency, the child's fears dissolve. The chapter closes with a profound message. Parents hold the key to shaping their children's subconscious worlds. By offering love, encouragement, and positive guidance, they equip their children with an inner foundation that supports a lifetime of happiness, health, and success.
Chapter 24. How to use your subconscious mind in business. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy explores how the principles of the subconscious mind can be applied directly to the world of business, career, and financial success. He begins by reminding us that business is not just about numbers, products, or transactions. It is ultimately about ideas, imagination, and the power of thought. The subconscious mind, he argues, is the greatest business partner anyone can have, for it can generate ideas, attract opportunities, and inspire solutions when consciously directed. Murphy highlights that many of the most successful entrepreneurs, inventors, and leaders relied heavily on the creative power of their subconscious. They nurtured a vision, impressed it upon their inner mind with faith and persistence, and allowed the subconscious to guide them toward strategies, people, and circumstances that made the vision a reality. He provides several principles for using the subconscious mind in business. 1. Have a clear mental picture.
Define exactly what you want to achieve in your career or business. Whether it is building a company, excelling in a profession, or achieving financial independence, form a clear, detailed picture in your mind. The subconscious responds most powerfully to specific and vivid images. 2. Affirm prosperity and success. Replace thoughts of lack, failure, or competition with affirmations of abundance. Statements such as, "I am open to new opportunities," or "success flows to me easily and naturally," help plant seeds of prosperity in the subconscious. 3. Trust your intuition. Often, flashes of insight or sudden inspirations are messages from the subconscious. Murphy advises paying attention to these subtle inner nudges, as they can guide decisions in hiring, investments, or negotiations. 4. Think in terms of service. A key idea in this chapter is that true success in business comes from service. When you focus on providing genuine value to others, whether through products, services, or ideas, you align with a universal law of reciprocity. The subconscious, in turn, brings opportunities and growth to those who serve. 5. Overcome fear of failure. Fear, doubt, and insecurity are enemies of business success. These negative emotions often create mental blocks that prevent creativity and progress. By impressing the subconscious with thoughts of confidence, capability, and resilience, you dissolve fear and open the door to innovation and bold action. Murphy provides examples of individuals who used subconscious techniques to succeed in business. One man, struggling with his company's sales, began each morning with a visualization exercise where he imagined satisfied customers, abundant orders, and prosperity flowing into his business. Within months, his circumstances transformed and his sales multiplied. Another entrepreneur relied on prayer and affirmation to find the right business partners, and his subconscious guided him toward people of integrity and skill. The underlying message is clear. Business success is not only about hard work, but about inner alignment. When your subconscious is programmed with confidence, service, and prosperity, it becomes a magnet for opportunities, creativity, and success. Murphy ends the chapter with encouragement. No matter where you are starting from, you can use the power of your subconscious to build wealth, advance in your career, and create lasting success, provided you keep your mind free of fear and filled with constructive images.
Chapter 25. Your Subconscious Mind and Problem Solving. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy highlights one of the most practical and empowering uses of the subconscious mind, its ability to solve problems creatively and effectively. He explains that while the conscious mind can become entangled in worry, confusion, and overanalysis, the subconscious has direct access to a deeper intelligence capable of delivering clear, innovative solutions. Murphy begins by pointing out a common mistake many people make, trying to force solutions through conscious effort alone. The harder they push, the more tense and confused they become. By contrast, when one turns the problem over to the subconscious, solutions emerge naturally and often with surprising elegance. He describes a simple but powerful method for subconscious problem solving. 1. Clearly define the problem. State the issue in precise terms. The subconscious responds well to clarity. Instead of vague feelings of frustration, articulate, "How can I improve my relationship with my colleague?" Or, "What is the best way to expand my business this year?" 2. Turn the problem over to the subconscious. Once you have framed the question, release it. Mentally affirm, "My subconscious mind has the answer. It is revealing it to me clearly and directly." 3. Detach and trust. Do not force or obsess over the solution. Detachment allows the subconscious to work freely. Murphy emphasizes that worry blocks insight, while confidence opens the channel. 4. Be receptive to the answer. The solution may arrive in a dream, a sudden idea, a conversation, or even a seemingly random occurrence. The subconscious uses many channels to communicate, so stay alert and open. Murphy shares several stories to illustrate this process. An engineer, stuck on a design problem, wrote down his issue, affirmed that his subconscious had the solution, and went to sleep. Upon waking, he had a sudden flash of insight that resolved the challenge completely. A writer, struggling with a storyline, relaxed and trusted her subconscious to work overnight. The next morning, she awoke with the perfect continuation of her plot. He explains that this works because the subconscious mind never sleeps. While the conscious mind rests, the subconscious continues processing, analyzing, and synthesizing information, connecting ideas in ways the rational mind often overlooks. He also highlights the importance of confidence in this process. If you hand over a problem while secretly doubting that a solution will come, you are programming uncertainty instead of clarity. Faith is the bridge that allows the subconscious to deliver its wisdom. He ends the chapter with a reassuring truth. There is no problem too big for the subconscious mind. Whether in personal life, business, health, or relationships, the infinite intelligence within is always ready to provide guidance and solutions, if only we learn to ask, release, and trust.
Chapter 26. How to use your subconscious mind to remove fear. In this chapter, Joseph Murphy turns his attention to one of the most crippling emotions of all, fear. He explains that fear is not an external reality, but rather a mental construct, a distorted image impressed upon the subconscious mind. Left unchecked, fear paralyzes action, blocks creativity, and prevents us from achieving our true potential. Murphy emphasizes that fear is essentially faith in the wrong direction. It is believing in defeat, loss, or failure, instead of trusting in the power of life, love, and success. The subconscious responds to whatever thoughts we feed it. When we continually dwell on frightening possibilities, we program the subconscious to create conditions that reflect those fears. To overcome fear, Murphy suggests several powerful techniques. 1. Confront fear with faith. Replace fearful thoughts with affirmations of courage, confidence, and divine support. For example, I am filled with faith, love, and confidence. I move forward boldly, knowing the power within me is greater than any obstacle. 2. Picture the opposite outcome. Instead of imagining failure or disaster, visualize yourself succeeding, speaking confidently, or overcoming the situation with ease. The subconscious will work to bring about the image most vividly impressed upon it. 3. Gradual exposure with positive conditioning. If fear is tied to a specific situation, such as speaking in public, Murphy recommends exposing yourself gradually while simultaneously impressing the subconscious with images of calm and success. Over time, the fear dissolves. 4. Use prayer and visualization before sleep. Because the subconscious is most receptive before sleep, he advises repeating affirmations of courage at night, allowing them to sink deeply and reshape the inner mind. Murphy shares accounts of individuals who conquered deep fears by applying these principles. One woman, terrified of flying, began affirming daily, "I am safe, I am free, and I trust the power that guides me." Combined with visualizing calm flights, her subconscious eventually accepted this new image and she overcame her fear completely. He also notes that many fears are inherited from childhood experiences or cultural conditioning. These fears may not even be based on reality, yet they live on in the subconscious until consciously replaced. Perhaps the most profound insight of the chapter is this: fear cannot stand in the presence of love and faith.
By cultivating a heart full of love for life, people, and God, we automatically weaken and dissolve fear. Love, Murphy says, is the greatest weapon against all forms of mental bondage. He concludes by reminding us that courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. When we use the subconscious mind correctly, we can reprogram it to support confidence, boldness, and faith. With this shift, fear loses its grip, and we step into life with strength and freedom.
Chapter 27. How to Stay Young in Spirit Forever. In this final chapter, Joseph Murphy addresses one of humanity's greatest concerns, aging. He explains that while the body inevitably goes through physical changes, the mind and spirit can remain eternally youthful. The key, he argues, lies in how we think, what we believe about aging, and the mental images we impress upon the subconscious mind. Murphy begins by challenging the idea that old age must be associated with decline, weakness, or irrelevance. He insists that these negative beliefs are cultural myths rather than universal truths. Many people remain creative, vibrant, and purposeful well into their advanced years, while others feel old long before their time simply because they expect deterioration. The subconscious, he explains, responds to the dominant thoughts we hold about age. If we continually affirm decline, the subconscious manifests conditions of weakness and fatigue. But if we affirm vitality, usefulness, and ongoing creativity, the subconscious helps sustain health, energy, and mental sharpness. Murphy provides several principles for staying young in spirit. 1. Stay mentally active. Youthfulness is linked not to the number of years lived, but to the freshness of one's outlook. Continuously learning, exploring, and engaging the mind keeps the subconscious energized. 2. Cultivate purpose. A strong sense of purpose keeps the spirit alive. Those who retire into inactivity often feel old quickly, while those who continue to contribute through teaching, volunteering, creating, or mentoring retain vitality. 3. Affirm health and energy daily. Statements such as, "Every day I am filled with life, strength, and energy," train the subconscious to keep the body's systems functioning optimally. 4. Surround yourself with youthful ideas. Spending time with positive, energetic people, engaging in meaningful conversations, and refusing to dwell on decline helps maintain a spirit of vitality. 5. Live with gratitude and love. Gratitude generates joy, and love dissolves bitterness. Both are essential qualities for keeping the spirit young and light. Murphy also emphasizes the importance of letting go of regret and resentment. Many people age prematurely because they carry emotional burdens from the past. Forgiveness, he says, is a rejuvenating force that clears the mind and allows new energy to flow. He illustrates his points with stories of individuals in their 70s, 80s, and beyond who lived with passion, creativity, and vigor because they refused to accept limiting beliefs about age. One man began painting at the age of 80 and produced beautiful works for nearly 2 decades. Another woman, after retiring, started writing books that inspired thousands. Murphy closes the chapter and the book with an uplifting reminder. True youth is a state of mind. As long as you maintain faith, curiosity, love, and a willingness to grow, you will remain young in spirit regardless of the years on the calendar. The subconscious mind will reflect these attitudes in your health, creativity, and joy.
Final conclusion of The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. At the end of this timeless work, Joseph Murphy leaves us with one unforgettable message. Your subconscious mind is your greatest treasure.
It is the inner reservoir that holds your deepest beliefs, past experiences, and mental images. More than that, it is the hidden force that shapes your daily reality and determines the direction of your life. Murphy reminds us that the subconscious does not judge or distinguish between good and bad, success and failure. It simply responds to what you consistently plant in it. When you feed it fear, doubt, and weakness, it produces a life filled with obstacles and frustration. But when you impress it with faith, confidence, and positive imagery, it opens the doors to health, happiness, success, and inner peace. Throughout the chapters, we were guided on a journey of practical wisdom, how to reprogram our minds with affirmations and visualization, how to harness the power of prayer and sleep, how to overcome fear and transform it into courage, how to achieve prosperity in business, and even how to remain forever young in spirit by holding on to curiosity, gratitude, and love. The core message is clear. We are not victims of circumstances. We are creators of them. Every thought is a seed. The subconscious mind is the fertile soil, and our lived reality is the harvest. Ultimately, Murphy teaches us that life transformation begins within. When we direct our subconscious with images of success, words of reassurance, and feelings of gratitude, we align ourselves with infinite intelligence, and miracles unfold in the ordinary flow of life. If you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring book summaries.